Hi, this is Dorothy from Scrapbooking, and I've been gone for a long time, but I'm back. Lots of stuff going on. But this is the first layout from Hope and Kindness, and these beautiful papers are available until June 30th. So this is the start. So I tell you where I just gave myself such a hard time. So there are 6 two-page layouts that are in the guide that you can download from my website. Now, this bundle is actually a very good deal. Like I said, the special is available until June 30th. And you get die cuts, you get that gorgeous sticker page. But those die cuts, look at how wonderful that cutout is. So like I said, you have 6 layouts to do. Now, I will tell you that I did what I just tell you not to do, and that is to cut without sorting while you're cutting. And so I will tell you what the instructions say right off the bat. Before beginning, create a separate pile for each of the layouts. Put each of the background pages in the appropriate pile as you make your cuts from the cut guide. Put all the corresponding pieces in their appropriate pile to make assembly smoother and faster. Well, there's a lot of cuts with these layouts. I'm just telling you, get ready. The layouts themselves are really beautiful. You'll see I've got all of them recorded, and I've got to just overdub them, and then you will get to see all of them. But look at these beautiful lace doilies. Now that is part of the bundle. 2 die cuts to make those, the large and the small doily. You also get a stamp set and a thin cut, and it makes that beautiful title for that particular layout. You also can make a lot of floral bundles, kind of bouquets, with the stamp and other thin cuts that come in the Stamp and Thin Cut set. So what I did was I took my page protectors, I made a sticky note of 1 through 6. Oh, you also get a lot of wooden heart embellishments. And I ended up dyeing all of them with my tri-blend markers. So they just take up dye beautifully. They just suck up the dye right away. So those are the small lace doilies that you cut in half. And these are cutouts from the various papers that come with this really beautiful, maybe slightly retro type paper. And you know, everything is retro right now, if you haven't noticed. But you'll be seeing a lot of retro. Movies, ads, you name it. It's there, it's out there. So this is the first layout. And I am not going to read out loud the instructions. I will tell you I cut everything, and I bet it took me a week to sort through all the pieces. I got so frustrated. I didn't know what to do with myself. I just really got upset with myself that I didn't sort as I cut. I just went crazy and cut everything. So it's a bear. It was an absolute bear. I'm using my journaling pen. I'm using my white gel pen. Here's the stamp set that comes in the bundle. So there you go. You've got beautiful heart, hope, and kindness that can be used for great titles for different layouts. And then you've got those beautiful bouquets. So you get a lot with this bundle. And so so you don't get frustrated, give yourself weeks to do this project and be kind to yourself. You'll end up with absolutely gorgeous pages that you'll love, but give yourself plenty of time to do it so you don't get into the frustrating tizzy that I got myself into. So one of the things that you cut is a frame, and you're doing this to save paper. But, you know, it's not a hard cut, but it is, you know, you do have to take care while you're doing it. So I am just running my Tombow on the very edge, and I probably did this one wrong. So you're going to be watching many places where I didn't do things just exactly right. Surprise, surprise, nothing different from me. So you can kind of learn while I'm doing. I think the second page I actually do differently. So this is going on there, but it's actually supposed to go a little bit over, like I said. So that's one of the papers. So you've got, that's the signature paper essentially, with those wonderful daisies on the other. A lot of the cutouts are from that signature page, where you cut out the bouquets and you use them as embellishments. So I'm telling you that each of these layouts has quite a few pieces to it. So once again, I will say, don't get yourself frustrated. Give yourself a lot of time and enjoy the creativity that you're doing, putting these pages together. So I promise you they'll be worth it. So I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing here. So you see there's supposed to be like a 1/4 of an inch border around the white border is supposed to be around those like 4x10 cutouts. So it's supposed to be sort of like that. So I'm just going to go with it. And I'm actually using the other side of the paper that they suggest. But that's okay. That's, you know, it's totally okay. And so here's another of the strips. That's a 12-inch strip that's supposed to go from side to side. And there's a lot of kraft color in this particular layout. So you get a lot of kraft on one side and stripe on the other. So there it is. So see, that was supposed to go from end to end, 12-inch piece. And I cut it off, and I wasn't really supposed to do that. Once again, what can I tell you? I'm just going and doing. And I'm just kind of letting you know you can have different ways. You don't have to do it exactly like the instructions. So this is what I did. If you look at the paper, those pieces, those two thin pieces come out all the way to the edge of the 12x12. So there's one of the cutout pieces and another. And that was another one of the papers with the dot on the one side. That may have been, those may have, well, whatever. They may have been cards or just like the black background or the harbor background. So I'm putting a 4x6 on top of a 4 1/4 by 6 1/4 white daisy. Now you don't have to, there's pieces on here. I would truly suggest that you study the guide before you start cutting. So you don't necessarily have to have the white daisy cardstock underneath your 4x6 paper. But this will give a little white edge to your print. So here's my white gel pen, and I'm just adding a little detail to this little banner. Just to add a little interest. It's cute, right? And simple. I like the simple part. So there's a lot of that dotted paper, you notice? There's a lot of it. And one side, one of the pages that has the dots on it, has like 4x6 and 3x4 cards on it. So I will also tell you that you can take any layouts from Pinterest or our how-to books and make your own layouts. And there's a lot to be said for doing that. These are, I personally think these are pretty complicated layouts, just from my level of frustration. But you know, maybe I'm just getting old and crabby. But you could do your own layouts with these papers and they would come out beautiful because it's the papers that really make the layout, I think. Just my personal opinion. Here's a little bit of detail again. And how simple. These are just dots. They used to make letters like this, you know, where you made a dot and then you just kind of connected the dots. A little funny font. Anyway, I do like that detail. And so there's a lot of those ideas that are in this guide that you could learn from. So I'm just using, anytime you see me use these little guys, I'm popping things up to add some dimension. So the other thing is that these papers are pretty busy papers. And so like doing the cutouts, I love the bouquet cutouts, but these are very detailed pages. So if you like things that are not quite so detailed, then you can make simpler layouts, just real simple. So this is how easy it is to color those little wooden embellishments. I mean, just so easy. And just so they really add a lot to the wood. And these are the colors I used, the same colors that were suggested for coloring the thin cut bouquets from the stamp set. So they coordinate beautifully with these papers. So that's why I went ahead and used the same tri-blend markers that they suggest for these papers to color the wood. And let me see if I can tell you they have that. No, they don't have, I don't have the list. I thought I had the list of oh, maybe it's here. Nope. Anyway, the coral blend is the one I used on those hearts. So the title Sweet came from the die cuts, and there are absolutely, I probably have a third of them left. I used all the ones that they suggested, and I still have a bunch of things left over. So I'm using my liquid glass to adhere. I usually use my Tombow, but my Tombow went flying off someplace, and it became unreachable. So I'm using my liquid glass. That was handy. Of course, the liquid glass, you need to keep a pin in it so it doesn't clog up. It clogs up. It dries out pretty quickly. So you have to keep something in it so it doesn't clog up. But nothing will move with this liquid glass. It is such a tough glue. It's one of the toughest glues that's, I mean, when they say liquid glass, they mean it dries like it hard as glass. So look how lovely that is. It's really pretty. Now, I will also tell you that the cardstock that comes with this bundle, along with the printed papers, the cardstocks are gorgeous. They are absolutely gorgeous. They are in peach and sage and a dark green called pine and harbor, which is like a deep navy blue. And one side is kind of textured looking, but it's not. And the other side is washed, like you can see kind of lighter waves of the sage going through that paper. So one side is washed, white, kind of watercolor washed, and the other is the textured look. So they are beautiful, and one of them actually is a kraft cardstock that is just kraft paper on one side, and then the other side is like a 1/4 of an inch edge of kraft with kind of a distressed inner part of white, kind of a soft white. Anyway, really, and it was used for the background. You'll see it. It's a background for one of the layouts. Anyway, the even if you just get the bundle that is the paper and the cardstock, you will be thrilled with it. I'm telling you, the cardstock is worth buying just on its own. So there we've got our doilies, and then we're putting a 1/4 inch strip or 3/8 inch strip here for a little bit. It's kind of unusual. That's going to be where journaling goes. So it's kind of unusual to have just a single strip for journaling. So, and I'm just going to cut it off flush there. So like I said, it's a little retro. The paper and the doilies, you know, it's definitely kind of retro. So there's the first page, and then I will try to put together the second page here. Nobody's cooperating with me today. None of the papers are cooperating. So there we've got the the layouts are very similar for both sides. Once again, we're doing it the same way as the first page, so they're going to coordinate, and nothing too hard. So you kind of, if you've done the first page, then you kind of have the second page down. So see, you can tell that one side was kind of textured looking, and this side is kind of the watercolor wash look. So just a note that this was speeded up 150%. I think putting the first layout together was like 50 minutes for me. So just as a technical part of how long this took me. So, but I did have some additional stuff at the beginning to kind of explain some things. So the others go, I think, much quicker. I don't want to say much quicker, because there's nothing about me that's much quicker. But anyway, time for new Tombow. I go through quite a bit of Tombow because this is, like I said, it's 12 pages, and it's a lot of pieces per page. So for those of you who like simpler layouts and easier layouts, then I would say get the paper. Do not get the paper because of these more complicated layouts. You can buy the paper as its own bundle and the cardstock as its own bundle. You can get the, you know, all the pieces, like the stamp set and thin cuts, the doilies. They can all be purchased individually rather than getting the whole bundle. And then, so if you want to just get the paper bundle and the cardstock, then make your own simpler layouts, and you know, from Pinterest or whatever. So, you know, sometimes you kind of wish you had done those kind of things, but I didn't. I went ahead and did this particular guide. Now, this is not the usual, I will tell you, if you download the guide from my website. This is not the usual thing that you see from Close to My Heart. The instructions and stuff aren't. This was created by one of the Close to My Heart makers, and she designed the layouts. So the instructions are not what you're used to from the Close to My Heart instructions. and just, they look very different. So that's just for your information. So once again, I'm putting the 4x6, but this time the 3x4 is going to go on top and the 4x6 is going to go on the bottom. So it kind of flips from the first page. So just to stir things up a bit. Now here we go. I pretty much am eyeballing. Most of the layout is done with just eyeballing from what the picture looks like. So, but I have to say, see, now that's from that paper, from the signature paper, the Hope and Kindness paper. I mean, I took one of the sheets and we cut out a frame, and so there was the middle piece that was left, and that I cut up quite a few of the pieces on the inside of that to make those embellishment, those cutouts. And that is a great way to make perfectly coordinating embellishments, is if you've got paper that's got a particular design on it that's easy to cut out, then by all means use your paper at hand to go ahead and make your own embellishments. So it's a great way. Now I'll tell you this, I'm putting this over here. That doesn't have to be a picture. You could use that particular one and not put the the photo holder on it, the 3x4 photo holder on it, and you could use it as a journaling area and just write all the stuff about your pictures that you want. So I'm popping up. You have to put that little design on that little banner in your memory bank to use it with different colors that coordinate with your paper, with the little dots and the connecting, because I think that's really cute. And then with this butterfly, there may have been a dotted butterfly, but I overlooked it. Anyway, I went ahead and made my own dotted butterfly from the cutouts with my gel pen. That white gel pen has really come in handy. That's also close to my heart in my catalog. If you go on dorothy.closetomyheart.com. So, and then I'm taking the journaling pen and I'm making a little trail. Butterflies don't fly from A to B, they go all around. So I made a little dotted trail for the butterfly. And once again, here we go with our little doilies. So the doilies that were cut in half to make a scallop, a fancy scallop. So, isn't that pretty? Sometimes there's been more than one paper that's reminded me of paper that my grandmother had in her living room, the wallpaper. It's just really, she had big floral groups on her paper. I can distinctly remember it. That was from a long time ago. That was from the 50s. That's how long ago. My goodness. So anyway, when I say this is retro, I think it's very much retro. So I'm using some of my leftover pieces from my shaker window. And I made a mess with all of my anti-static pouch. But I wanted to take some of the stickum away from the, because that was a sticker. So I'm going to put this on there, and I'm going to try not to go where so the pictures can go snug up under there. So in this one, I'm going to kind of put underneath there, like that. So it's pretty. I mean, you have to admit it's really pretty. Detailed, a little fussy, but pretty. goodness. And then they've got all these different kinds. There's tons of different kinds of hearts in the embellishment bag of hearts. So, you know, there's these open hearts, and then there's kind of a lined grid heart, and the all sorts of sizes, teensy little beanie hearts and bigger hearts. So you've got every kind of heart you can imagine in this bag of wooden hearts. So I'm just going to let it stay there and let the liquid glass do its thing. So I think we're close to being done, except I'm missing something and I don't know what. That's going to go on that little group. And I love these open die cuts that they've got on their sheet. And look at how nice that looks, to just have the color show through and just the lines. I just think that's really lovely. So there's our layout. And like I said, it's they're very pretty. Very, very pretty layouts. I'm just trimming off the excess here. Would have been easier to let it go all the way over to the full 12 by 12 length. But I didn't. I made a number of boo-boos in cutting, is what I found at the end of doing all of these layouts. There's a number of mistakes I made in doing the cuts. So I would pay attention to what you're doing when you're doing your cutting, and just kind of hang in there and don't beat yourself up, because I tell you, I was beating myself up. So do as I say, not as I do. Adding a few more die cut hearts there, and a couple of little wood ones. I'm going to color them first. You can either color first. If you color first, then you put them down. If you put them down with the liquid glass first, you know, they kind of scooch around while you're coloring them. So I would say color first, and then, but I do it both ways. So cute, right? Those little hearts, they just add a nice little thing. So there's the bag of hearts. And like I said, all sorts of sizes. And even, you know, short squatty hearts and longer elongated hearts and hearts on the inside of a little thought bubble. I mean, just every kind of heart that you can imagine. So, and coordinating the colors, you really should try that, because that just makes all the difference in the world. So, I think that's it. Here we go. Let me just clean up my mess here and lay them out. So you can see, so I use my journaling pen. I use the Coral Tri-Blend marker for this one, the white gel pen, a lot of Tombow, a lot of liquid glass, and of course lots of our three-dimensional pop-up dots. What are they called? Little foam dots, that's what they are. They're foam dots. And of course I use my microtip scissors, because you can't do a layout without doing microtip scissors. So, here we go. There's my journaling pen, my close to my heart journaling pen. And there we have it. One and done. Thanks for watching. Bye. Hi, I'm Dorothy Smith. Thanks for watching my video, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel and learn along with me. Thanks. Bye-bye.